William Randolph Hearst, right?
Exactly. Even though at the time he denied it, it was all true.
Yeah.
It was all true. Did you ever see the movie about the making of Citizen Kane? There's a movie called RKO 281 that's fun. That's about the making of Citizen Kane.
Oh, send that to me in a text message.
I will. It's on HBO Max. And on Netflix,
I'm not getting
there's a movie
HBO
about
Max.
the writing of Citizen Kane.
I don't want to get it. I'm not going to watch it. Don't text it to me.
All right. You don't have to tell me twice.
I feel like there's enough stations on cable that all this shit could have just been on cable.
It was on cable. And then they made us think that we could just pick and choose and save money. And instead, we're paying more for fewer channels.
Yeah. It's a dystopia.
Yeah.
As far as dystopias go, it's not the worst one.
Yeah, it's not the first dystopia I think of that we're living through.
Yeah, it wasn't the Khmer Rouge.
Well, that was a genocide.
A dystopia
Cambodia,
of
correct?
sorts, right?
Yeah.
Depending on which side you're on.
I suppose. Yeah.
But let's talk about sports.
Also a bit of a dystopia right now.
I know, right?
Yeah. All right. So do you think are the leagues going to take a break? Are they going to play out the full season? I mean, it was a pretty healthy stretch there for a long time. And in the last week or so, the number of players missing games in the NFL and the NBA has increased like 700%. Yeah.
So I know that I've always wondered about the NBA. Why the fuck can't they take a break? It's an indoor sport. They have air conditioning. You turn off the heat once it gets hotter outside.
Their biggest problem is they feel like if they go too deep into the summer, people are all wanting to be outside doing summer shit. So they lose viewers, and they don't want to conflict too much with football.
Well,
so
you
they don't
can't be further away from football than the middle of the summer. All you got to do is compete with fucking baseball, which everyone agrees stinks.
Some people agree, but the thing about baseball is you're outside most of the time.
Oh, that's a hat you have on. I thought that's what your hair looked like.
I've got this tattooed on.
I always thought you were a fiery Irishman.
I'm a bland Frenchman.
You're French.
No one guesses it.
Dorval. Well, no, you never think. What do you think of my Frenchman?
Yeah. Well, everyone just kind of assumes like big Irishman or Italian guy.
Yeah. Well, not a lot of French are here.
I am from Rhode Island, and there are a couple of pockets in Rhode Island that were heavily French Catholic.
Really?
In Pawtucket and in Woonsocket, big French Catholic populations. Yeah. That's why in every pizza place you could always get fish and chips.
Beaver trappers that came down from Canada?
That's what we did. We heard there were furs down here, and we came for your beautiful, delicious pelts.
Gross.
Hey, man's got to make a living.
Wow, I had no idea you were French.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Now,
the airport in Quebec is called the Dorval Airport.
No shit.
So if I'd ever gotten just for laughs, I could have flown into the Dorval Airport.
Wow. That's like when Reagan played the Improv.
It's exactly like that.
Yeah. Or LaGuardia did the Cellar.
LaGuardia always ran the light.
And the light. Or RFK. Wait, he was already dead.
Who was our funniest president? Was it Obama?
I mean, no.
Intentionally.
Well, I mean, objectively, it was pretty funny when Trump called her Pocahontas.
That's something your uncle came up with. See, here's my feeling. Nothing Trump ever did was original or creative.
No,
like,
but he was a big mean crowd work comic. And he wasn't even a hack. He wasn't even the first one to pull the Pocahontas joke. I mean, Bush was pretty good at poking fun at himself. Obama was a little too together for me.
Okay.
You know what I mean? He was too a little rigid.
I bet Teddy Roosevelt could have handled the room.
I mean, that's probably the answer.
Yeah.
But people said Reagan was funny.
He had a line in the second debate against Mondale that people credited for turning that whole election around.
Yeah.
So the first debate, he was already the oldest president at the time. And in that first debate, the reviews were that he was wandering, that he seemed old, that he couldn't focus on what was going on. And
he said,
his
"Why don't
opener,
you suck my fucking cock?"
That was, yeah. There's a lot of comics that couldn't even write that line. But no, his opener was, a lot has been made about age in this debate, but I'm going to say right now that I'm not going to let my opponent's youth and inexperience be held against him. And it got a huge laugh. And like Mondale even laughed and smiled. And yeah, the rest, he owned it the rest of the way. And then he won like 48 states.
Yeah. Well, luckily, Reagan's age never really affected his ability to lead.
Yeah, no, except for the last 3 years when he had Alzheimer's disease.
Who remembers that? Not him.
Indeed.
Certainly, although it is a horrible disease. Feel free to donate on the bottom right of your screen.
And honestly, comedians, if you're listening to this and learn nothing else, the importance of a strong opener cannot be overstated.
Mm-hmm. You're saying I'm the opener?
No. Not an opening act, an opening line.
Oh,
your opening joke.
Yeah. That was my the Alzheimer's thing.
Yeah, it's gonna kill.
Yeah.
Not enough people have Alzheimer's humor.
I mean, it's going to be a burgeoning market.
It's going to grow.
Yeah, not the a number lot of benefits you're going to play. All callbacks, really.
Think about how little material you're actually going to have to write. I say this with a deathly fear of getting Alzheimer's because it does run in my family.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, every time I'm forgetful, I'm just like, well, that's Alzheimer's.
None of us have gotten anywhere near old enough to get it.
Yes, I'm creeping up on it.
Really? Nah.
Don't discount me.
That's the one positive the doctor always gives us.
What?
Well, you have a year to live, but you won't get Alzheimer's.
That is a glass half full kind of approach to it.
Great news. Want the good news or the bad news, he says.
All right, so is everyone going to keep playing? Are they going to take weeks off? Football's not going to stop. It's really just...
Why can't football stop? Why can't football go into the first week of March? Who gives a shit?
They could, but they won't.
But they
don't want to take weeks off because of all the leagues, they have already shown the least concern for the physical safety of their players. 2, most of the games are played outside. And I mean, 3, I could have stopped at 2. Those are both, those are 2 good reasons.
Yeah, but what would fuck them is that when you get into the playoffs, and there's no way to, if this happens in March, that wouldn't necessarily happen anyway. But say Mahomes gets COVID the week of a playoff game.
Yeah.
That would kind of ruin the whole thing.
Yeah, it would be terrible. The other reason so the NFL just passed a rule saying, unless you're symptomatic, we're not going to test you as long as you're vaccinated.
Okay.
Which I can't tell if that's the exact right way to go. Because, all right, if you're like vaccinated and it's probably not going to be that serious, then we don't want to know. Or if it's really just diving your head into the sand completely.
Well, saying, it might be a way to motivate people into getting boosted up, too. Hey, we won't stick a Q-tip up your nose every day.
Yeah.
I don't care how many sit-ups you've done. That is unpleasant.
You would think. So should we get to Kyrie actually being COVID
well, that's
positive?
What's amazing is, what do you think Kyrie Irving coming into the NBA right now unvaccinated? One, Paul, you might be able to figure out, are there any Vegas odds as to how fast Kyrie Irving will get COVID?
He has it, right?
Oh, he currently has it?
Yeah, he tested positive like the day after they announced it. Yeah.
I mean, I hope nothing happens. I hope he lives. But fucking, it's actually good because he'll have antibodies at least.
I guess that's a glass half full kind of approach.
Well, I told you my Alzheimer's doctor policy.
I can't believe you didn't know Kyrie had tested positive.
I didn't know. No.
Yeah, it's like the first thing, because all the conservatives like Clay Travis and Sage Steele were immediately going, oh, look at all these positive cases. And man, is anybody going to give credit to Kyrie? He's probably going to get through this better than anybody. And then within like 6 hours, he had tested positive.
Well, I mean, at least he has antibodies and whatever the hell.
Well, he's got to get through it first. I mean, that's the upside if he does okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I think he does a lot of sit-ups and cardio, and I think he's going to be okay.
All right. I mean
yeah.
Tatum really hurt. Like Tatum, but Tatum had to have an inhaler the rest of the year.
I know, but then there were guys that didn't happen to. So hopefully he'll just be one of the guys that didn't happen to him.
Yeah, I mean, we can hope, but
I mean, it's his own fault at this point if it's fucking this.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, this is nobody's fault but his own.
You know, and I'm not a Nets fan by any stretch of the imagination. By the way, nobody is. I'm amazed that our friend James Patterson even switched over when they moved from New Jersey. If I lived in New Jersey and they went to Brooklyn, I'd be like, well, fuck those guys.
It has to be incredibly disheartening to be involved with the Brooklyn Nets organization because you got all the best players. The Knicks could not be run any worse, and you still can't win over anybody. The Knicks might have the worst ownership in sports right now. With Donald Sterling being gone, there's a real case that Dolan is the worst owner in pro sports, and they still can't get anyone.
Yeah, but it's also, I mean, Brooklyn is filled with 80 years of people who grew up as Knicks fans.
Yeah.
And the people who are transplants are fucking hipsters who would rather put on an Oculus and play with their assholes all day than fucking go watch a basketball game like a real man.
The inflection with which you said man?
Like
the idea that you gave up on that before you even hit man was pretty great.
Yeah,
but yeah,
really.
I mean, Brooklyn was always a flawed
You never
concept.
just give up in the middle of a sentence?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I've absolutely been the man in that scenario before. But the idea that they decided they needed to move to Brooklyn and compete with the Knicks when there were markets that were open and could have been great for them is really weird because Vegas is still waiting for an NBA team. I don't know what the hell an owner is waiting for.
And it would be, I think Vegas should be like a neutral point. Like every team has 2 games a year where they just go to Vegas and they have little, not tournaments, but they have like 3 games a day in some arena. And then like fans can go out and go to games and shit. It's like a vacation spot.
Yeah. With the Raiders doing this well, they're going to get a team.
Yeah.
I mean,
Raiders
really, it's
right
just
now,
a matter of, are the Pelicans going to go to Vegas or are they going to go to Seattle?
Yeah. I mean,
they're not staying anymore.
Both are to the west of the mighty Mississippi. So that wouldn't
they'd actually finally be in the right division again. Or no, they're east, right? Pelicans are east. I'm thinking of the Grizzlies.
The Pelicans are east of the Mississippi?
Currently.
Is New Orleans on the east side or the west side of the Mississippi River?
Paul, where's New Orleans? Is it east or west of the Mississippi? I think it's east. It's near.
What about
Memphis?
Memphis?
Is near the Mississippi.
Isn't Memphis to the east of the Mississippi?
Memphis is to the east of the Mississippi.
But they're in the west.
They play in the Western Conference because they started as the Vancouver Grizzlies. So if we get a couple of teams...
Maybe it's because they started before the Louisiana Purchase.
That's it.
And it was the West.
They were originally owned by the French. My people originally owned the Grizzlies.
The Duvals, they were called.
Yep.
Dorvals, not Duvals. It is east. So there's two teams in the Western Conference that are east of the Mississippi River.
Yeah.
But we got to fix that. We definitely have to fix.
I think the Pelicans are in the Eastern Conference. Pelicans are Eastern. Grizzlies are Western.
The Pelicans? No.
Yeah, because they used to be the Hornets.
No.
They weren't in the Western Conference.
No way.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
No fucking way. This is the rest of the show. Don't look it up. We'll just keep arguing. Fuck you.
They were the Charlotte Hornets. How were they in the Western Conference?
Because they're now in Memphis.
No, they're in New Orleans.
New Orleans.
Pelicans.
But I think New Orleans is just to the west of the Mississippi River.
We've already answered this one.
We answered that one?
Yeah.
It's east? Okay, but Memphis is definitely east.
How many
but they are in the
did
Western
you get at Cumberland
Conference.
Farms?
Memphis is in the Western Conference.
Yes. You know who told you that? Me.
No, that's not what happened.
That is what happened. I said they used to be the Vancouver Grizzlies. That's why they're in the Western Conference.
I thought you said they were in the Eastern Conference.
No, the Pelicans are in the Eastern Conference. The Grizzlies should be in the Eastern Conference.
No, they are not. They're not in the Eastern Conference.
The Pelicans are in the Eastern Conference.
Wow, I've never seen a guy be more bragging about being right and then go hard wrong. I mean, he's looking at a fucking computer right now that says they're in the West.
Paul is saying the Pelicans are in the Eastern Conference?
You know what the problem is? You've isolated on Xanadu.
Wait a minute, Paul. What conference are the Pelicans in?
They're in the Western.
Pelicans are in the Western?
Yep.
Wow. All right. I will absolutely take the L on that.
Yeah, definitely.
Why aren't they?
It's not that hard to miss because they never make the playoffs. It's kind of hard. It's easy enough to forget about teams. Yes.
All right. Well, then it would be more of an argument for a couple of teams to move to Seattle and Las Vegas because then they'd actually be Western teams.
Yeah.
And you could move. Yeah.
And all of this confusion could cease.
Do you think anyone's listening anymore?
Well, the key is no one was listening to begin with. So really, that could have lasted forever. How dark is this room you're in?
This is quality radio. What is that?
You know what I thought was my favorite COVID thing? I've heard it was sort of COVID in a nutshell. Did you watch the Tampa Bay Saints game last night?
I did.
And Collinsworth was calling the game?
Yep.
Or whatever. And they start talking about all the COVID people in the league and how many games have been postponed. And then, you know, Al Michaels is in a very somber, so several games have been postponed. We'll play a 5:00 game on Monday and there'll be a game on Tuesday. And then Collins goes, oh man, this is great. Not leaving the couch all week. He was all excited about it.
There aren't a lot of guys that can find the upside to COVID like Chris Collinsworth.
But I mean, that's what I mean. Is there are some people that are crazy, sad, and somber about it. And then there's some people that only see silver lining.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I'm not minding having football 5 days in a row.
Do you think they'll ever get to the point where they have more midweek games?
I think the NFL would love to. I don't think they could do it scheduling wise. Thursday night's already been brutal.
Well, what if they institute another bye week?
They've talked about it, but
why not? These seasons could last all year. Nobody else watches anything.
The argument would be that it would stop being special if it was all year long. And you couldn't ask guys to play that many games.
Yeah, it's like seasons.
Football's brutal. Yeah, football's brutal. Yeah. That would be agony. Speaking of agony,
that's why I gave you another
Celtics?
bye week. What?
I said, speaking of agony, how about those Celtics?
I'm not that agonized.
It hurts me to watch them.
Oh, I like Josh Richardson.
He's been okay.
He had 27 the other night.
Yeah.
He's the best bench player the Celtics have had since. Has to be somebody better than since James Posey.
What about Schroeder? Schroeder's a bench guy. Schroeder's better than Richardson.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, I like our backup guards. Although Schroeder started a lot of games.
He has. Well, Jalen's only played like 8 games.
Yeah, yeah. And we get Jalen back. Jalen looks pretty good coming off it.
If he stays healthy.
If he stays healthy. But how many teams can withstand their second best guy being hurt?
Watching the Celtics play a third quarter is torture. If you ever wanted to make me give up information I was supposed to keep secret, make me watch all the third quarters from this Celtics season.
Mm-hmm.
They give up every lead they have. They look terrible doing it. They miss layup after layup. That's the thing about the Celtics team, too. It's bad enough that they keep going like 5 for 37 from three-point land. I've never seen a team miss this many shots right near the rim.
Well, Brown being back will help that. They only have 2 guys that can create dribble penetration. One of them hasn't played. And then Smart is just not a good at scoring at the hoop. Never has been.
Yeah.
Horford's 36. He can't jump anymore. Never was particularly great at scoring at the hoop.
He didn't have a strong low post game.
Time Lord can't score from more than 3 feet away.
No, he can only score on lobs.
Yeah, yeah. So if these 2 dudes are back and then get you, 25 and 23 a game each.
Yeah.
We're a really good defensive team.
When they decide to try, they go through long stretches where suddenly they don't play any defense.
Again, Jaylen Brown, who is possibly...
We're asking for a lot from Jaylen Brown, who has not shown in the last 2.5 years that he could stay healthy for a full season.
I mean, the Lakers are reliant on Anthony Davis.
Yeah, that doesn't make me feel better.
Doesn't make you feel better, but I don't know. Basketball players get hurt. He pulled a hammy. It's not like he tore an ACL or anything.
No.
And at the end of the year, if he goes through the rest of the year relatively injury free, you're going to forget that he was even fucking hurt at the beginning of the year.
Paul, are you sure the Pelicans are in the Western Conference? That seems impossible.
Even though their city is east of the Mississippi River.
That seems impossible.
Also the case with the Houston Astros being in the NL.
No, they're in the AL.
No, that doesn't fucking matter, right? You can be east of the Mississippi River and be in the...
Yeah, the National League is, it's the national.
Yeah. The whole...
It's the whole country.
Yeah, my bad.
Yeah.
That's fine. But didn't they flip around a couple years ago? They went from the AL to the NL?
They went from
the NL to the AL.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, about 20 years ago, the Brewers went from the AL to the NL, and then about 10 years ago...
After running over somebody with their car.
The Brewers?
No, it was an Astros joke, but it was really about Caitlyn Jenner.
Oh. Wait a minute. I don't get it.
They switched.
Okay.
Running
all right.
over
Thank you. Sorry.
With their car.
Okay. I see where you're going with that. Thank you.
But we'll try it again. I'm gonna try that joke some other time on the show.
I'll be ready to sell it harder. Make sure you put that out in the Twitter feed that we're never gonna make.
Oh yeah. Twitter.com.
Oh my God. All right. What else do we need to talk about?
I felt like there was something, but I don't know what it is. Have you done any comedy?
No. I'm supposed to Wednesday, and I think I might bail.
Bill's bar.
I've had half a dozen comedians in my Twitter feed announce that they have COVID.
You have a Twitter? Oh. What, really? Which ones?
I don't know if it's appropriate for me to name them.
They fucking announced it.
I don't know if their accounts are set to private or not.
You think that you can put something on twitter.com to the whole world, but then you can't say their names on a podcast that nobody listens to? There wouldn't be a safer place to put it. We could have kept Hillary's emails here.
Molly Rubin Long has Twitter or has COVID. Twitter is almost as bad as COVID. Carolyn Riley, Pamela Ross. Who else?
I know two of those three people.
Yeah. Yep. And multiple others that I'm blanking on. Lily Michelle. Yeah, a lot of women have COVID right now.
Oh, wow. Women be COVID.
Yeah. I think a bunch of guys do too, but they just want to keep going out to shows, so they're not admitting it.
I mean, that's one way to do it.
That is what scares me almost more than anything about trying to do unmasked comedy, is that I know at least 20% of the men in comedy would test positive and still go to the show.
Yeah. How good of a show would it have to be? Say it was your Tonight Show spot.
Yeah.
And I guess it wouldn't work mathematically, but somehow it was 1986. Would you still do your Tonight Show spot?
Yeah, Johnny can risk it.
Yeah, fuck Johnny. 1986,
Yes.
He wasn't that old yet. He was just prematurely gray.
Yeah, the Carson Show, I'm going.
Yeah, might kill Ed McMahon.
Fine. I thought Doc was a stronger sidekick anyway.
I didn't even know he had another sidekick.
He was the band leader, Doc Severinsen, and when Ed was off, Doc was basically the sidekick.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I like the band sidekick thing. I kind of missed, like, I could tell when Max Weinberg didn't go to LA.
Yeah.
But the Conan show might have been a little doomed. Although it wasn't doomed. It lasted 10 years. What the fuck?
Yeah, he did another 10.
Yeah.
On TBS.
I can't say his show was doomed when, again, nobody was listening to us.
Conan, did you ever read the second Late Shift book?
No. I mean, that was...
About the 2009 controversy?
I feel like from all the podcasts and shit I listened to, I lived through it. But yeah, there must have been back channel dealings.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, Conan, when he had the chance in 2004 to go to Fox, that was the missed opportunity.
Yes.
That was the missed opportunity. The idea that Leno was ever going to willingly stop working was insanity.
I could see Conan working on Fox.
Yeah, he would have been great there.
Yeah.
A strong lineup. He would have gotten a half-hour jump. Yeah, it would have been
he's
perfect.
A Fox guy. That would have worked.
Yeah, it's the move he absolutely should have done.
Yeah, fuck.
Right? I'm legit sad for the 17 years of Conan on Fox that we should have had.
Yeah. What was your Conan on Fox?
Oh, boy. Moving to New York instead of LA back when the industry actually liked me. That was my Conan on Fox.
You should have moved to New York instead of LA?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I feel like, nobody should move to LA.
No. I mean, at that time, if you knew that what you wanted was to be on a sitcom, all right, go to LA. Otherwise, no one should go to LA.
When I was in LA a couple months ago, people said to me when you moved to New York for the night and you moved to LA for the day. And it's like, well, I'm not moving for the fucking day. I'm trying to be a comedian.
You just woke up 3 hours ago.
Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah. If I just live I'm not a day man.
No. I wish people could see the texts when I actually suggest we record at 10 a.m.
Yeah. No. What are we, farmers?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a Gary Goldman line.
Is that I thought I heard that somewhere. That's a Goldman bit.
All the funny things I say are stolen.
But that Alzheimer's bit, 100% original.
That one's certainly not mine. I think that was Brian
Reagan's.
Regan bit.
Who's the comedian who does the impression of Brian Regan?
The comedian who Dennis Regan?
No, Brian Regan. So there's this comedian who used to do radio appearances, and I'm blanking on what he did, but he was just kind of known for doing a Brian Regan impression.
Okay.
His whole thing was just that Brian Regan was it was sort of a kinder Dane Cook, which was he didn't write anything. He just kind of did his Brian Regan thing about it. He was like, and I got the eggs. I had to crack them. I got to crack the eggs. Oh my God. Oh, here's the eggs.
Oh, hey, can you stop doing that? Looks like you're fucking coming.
That was the point.
Oh, now I'm coming.
There's nothing wrong with me feeling good, Dan. You don't need to kink shame me.
Oh, I'm gonna shower again.
It's part of my role. It's a very weird role for me to be in because I'm like the least sexy man in Boston comedy.
Who knew that's what I'm into?
Yeah.
There was a guy who went around a couple years ago doing Rodney Dangerfield. Like that I could see working. Yeah, wedding fucking guy. Go up to Rodney for a couple minutes. But Regan I couldn't really see ripping off.
Well, it wasn't really ripping him off. He was like, he also was trying to make sure that he was very kind towards Brian. He's just like, you could just make anything sound like a Brian Regan joke. And that was the challenge. So they'd just kind of be like, all right, do this. And they would just give him anything and he would just make it sound like a Brian Regan joke.
Oh, or Brian Regan, I wouldn't take very kindly to that at all.
If you actually got the broadcast in his helicopter, I'm sure he would have been very upset. Brian Regan hasn't had to listen to morning radio in 30 years.
20 years. Remember Bob and Tom? He was probably doing Bob and Tom till late.
He probably popped on once in a while.
You ever do the Bob and Tom show?
Has Brian Regan had to promote anything other than the occasional, like, all right, someone doing a TV ad for this in 20 years?
Maybe there's a special or something. I know he would do the rounds of the podcast. But no, I think you can just put his name on a marquee at the Wilbur and he'll sell 10 shows.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because once you can take your kids to something, that's huge.
Yeah. That's what I've crafted my whole career off of.
That's what, as soon as I see an open micer, I always tell them, you've got to market to children.
And people with Alzheimer's. Oh, yeah,
you did more than anybody ever. Mike used to travel doing the bubbles.
Yeah. Back when we had shows.
Is that going to come back?
I don't know. I've done some, but yeah, like literally today, I just canceled a couple.
Really?
Yeah. I was waiting for them to cancel where I'm like, everyone's got COVID and you're asking me to do a show where I can't wear a mask.
Suck it up and sit down and laugh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did they heckle?
What is that?
What's the worst heckle a kid ever gave you?
I mean, they got sad.
They got sad?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if one like pissed on himself, that'd be something. Shit himself.
No, it wouldn't. That'd be sad. Yeah. That would be sad.
Sorry, I got slap happy there.
That's okay. Did you watch the Patriots game?
Oh, the Patriots. No, I didn't. I was at the Springfield MGM.
I love that this is supposed to be a sports show, and half the time we didn't see the games.
Well, I listened to the last half on the radio.
Okay. How was the show at the MGM?
It was really good, actually. It was packed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I don't know if they're the real COVID memo-y types.
Did you say you were opening or headlining?
I was opening for Kevin Farley.
Oh, hey. Chris Farley's brother.
Yeah.
He did a show that was actually hysterical, like in the late 90s, early 2000s, called Together.
Yeah.
It was a spoof of all the boy bands. And so he was like the Joey Fatone of that group.
That's funny.
It was funny, yeah. It was an MTV show. It's worth looking up.
He said he did a pilot with Lenny Clark.
I think you and I are the last people alive who haven't done a pilot with Lenny Clark.
Yeah, and he was pretty funny. He was a nice guy. But yeah, I did miss much of the game, as it turned out. What happened? Yeah. We lost.
Friday we lost. I think Saturday we won.
Football?
Oh, on football, yeah, we lost. I thought you meant basketball.
Well, if you play Saturday and then you have to play football the next day, you're probably going to lose.
Probably.
Yeah,
football we lost.
That's a tough back-to-back.
We were down 20-0, and we came back to make it 2017.
Yep.
And it really felt like we were going to win the game, and then they couldn't stop Jonathan Taylor running when everybody knew he was running. It was like we switched places with the Bills from the week before.
Yeah, well, it sounded like we did that thing where we like crowded the line to try to get him. There was nobody back there.
And, well, no, he was there. He just ran through our whole team.
Yeah. But didn't we go for it with we didn't go for it with 6 minutes left and we kicked the field goal or something like that?
Yeah, so it was fourth down, and they were surprised, but it was the right decision because they were within 3. I mean, it was within 3 with 2 minutes left. They were in good position for a field goal. So just strategically, at the time, people were like, "Oh, I'm surprised he's not going for it." But it was the correct decision because he had a chance to get the ball back with 2 minutes and only down 3. So it really worked out well. I mean, if they hadn't done that, they would have needed a touchdown to score later on. So it made sense.
The math confuses me now that I think about it. But I remember yelling at the radio that we should have went for it. And when they lost, I felt more right.
But I mean, I guess it would have been, if they had gone for it with fourth down, it would have been 21-20 at that point, as if nothing else had changed. If everything else had gone the same, but they still would have lost because if everything else stays the same, then Taylor still goes for a touchdown and gets 27. So we would have lost 27-24.
Yeah, it still would have been bad. We would have covered.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have helped me.
What'd you lose on that one?
A 20 for $10. I told you, I have my gambling game where you get,
yes,
I do it with my friend Doug, and you get up or down $100 and you buy the other guy a gift. I recently received new pots and pans.
Wow, that's a good gift.
It was a great fucking gift. And I have a new gift coming. I recently won another 100. So we'll see what that's going to be.
If it was $100 pot and pan set, I'm not sure you want to keep those too long.
Why?
I mean, I feel like there might be some lead.
I'll toughen you up.
That's just roughage.
Yeah. I love Zeppelin.
I'll just bring in the Alzheimer's bit quicker.
What Alzheimer's bit?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Patriots game was just a bummer. I'm very excited about that.
After the big Bills win bye week, it really felt like, of course, we're going to win this Colts game, and then they did not. Yeah, it was very disappointing.
Well, the Bills,
and then
we were the underdog.
Cam didn't have a chance to help us, and he lost to the Bills.
I mean, I feel like anytime you're the underdog going in and you bring it down to the last couple possessions, you've done well. We still have a rookie fucking quarterback, and whatever. We're doing much better than we expected to do.
Wow. I never expected you to go full participation trophy, Dan.
Well, I have a weird thing. When my team is good, I'm endlessly critical.
Yes.
But when they're bad, I, just try not to kill myself.
Your Celtics take made a lot more sense now.
Does that qualify as a weird thing?
I appreciate the framing.
Yeah.
I'm completely on board with anything that keeps you alive.
What it is it's a low ceiling, still very low, but not hell basement.
All right. We're keeping Dan alive for the time being. Do you care about hockey at all? I mean, I know you don't care about hockey, but do you care about hockey taking time off? Because apparently they're not going to travel to Canada for the next 2 weeks.
Well, they shouldn't this time of year anyway.
I think they typically do.
Freezing up there.
Yeah.
No, I don't care. I don't care about hockey. I don't even that you brought it up upset me a little.
I was trying to avoid bringing up the baseball lockout.
Oh, I
know how much you desperately miss baseball and baseball news.
If anything, that offsets it.
I do what I can.
Yeah, they should a baseball lock in for COVID protection. No.
Are you going to keep doing comedy shows? Are you going to take any kind of a break with the vid traveling around?
No, I mean, it's kind of this week kind of does it for you by being Christmas.
Yeah.
We don't get COVID at comedy shows. We get COVID from our families.
It's happening at comedy shows right now.
Well, no, this week specifically.
That's true.
Yeah. And then, I don't really have a show till New Year's, so they might fix it by then.
Yeah, that's the other thing that's a little bit scary is I got to see the the grandparents this week.
Yeah.
So
just don't make out with them.
Don't tell me how to celebrate.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot you're French.
That's how we greet. Mais oui.
Have you been to France?
Never.
Ah.
Been to Canada. Been to Montreal.
Oh, okay. So you're French Canadian.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Supposedly, I think we came over
French
from France. Went down.
Come again?
I said came over from France into Canada and then went down to Rhode Island. That was the path of the Dorval clan.
Interesting. I had no idea. Yeah, Rhode Island had such a French contingent.
Woonsocket and Pawtucket.
Interesting.
Not so much anymore.
A little Vermont.
When I was a kid. Yeah.
I would figure Vermont would have some.
Vermont still got they probably have more than Pawtucket and Woonsocket now.
Huh.
But if you're ever in Woonsocket, my heart's with you. But if you look at the side of the buildings, you can actually see a lot of writing in French. Lots of Beyond the News.
Like Tony Parker?
Just like that.
Did you give a shit about Tony Parker? Like Greek people pretend the Greek freak is from Greece?
What?
The Greek freak isn't from Greece.
He grew up there.
They denied him citizenship.
He has citizenship now, doesn't he?
Now?
Oh.
But he was treated like shit when he first got there.
I've not done enough research into this.
Yeah. Well, you should have.
I apologize. How about I watch all the games first, and then I'll do a deep dive into the youth of Giannis.
Celtics play momentarily, don't they?
Yes. All right. They're tipping off, so our fans are all going to want to watch this game. Anything to plug before we get going?
No.
Yeah, me neither. I have that show, and I'm
opening for Kevin Farley 5 days ago.
I have a show, and I'm literally just not saying it because I still need to email him and be like, I don't feel great about this.
Yeah. Tell him I'll do it.
I will. He'd be happy to have you.
Actually, wait. Don't do that.
Okay.
I'm afraid of COVID-19.
Yeah. But, when you have the chance to do a show for -$10 after parking, how do you pass that up?
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's everything this week's going to suck anyway. This is a good week to not do it.
It probably is.
Yeah.
All right. So, have a Merry Christmas,
Celtics.
everybody. There's good games this week. Watch them. Enjoy them. Merry Christmas.
Hockey.
Bienvenue.